Hey YouTube, I'm out in the shop today. Thought I'd do a little review video for you. Now I've been welding, MIG welding and stick welding for about a year now. And I wanted to show you a stick machine. It's a Hobart stickmate LX AC/DC. It goes up to 160 amps on DC and 235 amps on AC. Now, you got your on-off switch, your polarities. You have AC. You have an AC high range and an AC low range, and then you have my favorite, DC electrode positive, and then you have DC electrode negative. Hold on here. Then you have down here you have your amperage control knob. See, it goes from 30 amps on AC all the way up to 235 amps on AC, and then it goes from 30 all the way up to 160 on DC. I've had I'll show you. Here's the ground clamp. Mine's a little bit dirty. I've been welding with it, but it's a nice firm spring. It a lot of contact points. And then you got, if you want to tighten that down to get a better ground, you can also just get a crescent wrench, tighten that down. Then the only thing I didn't like about this welder when I first got it was the stinger lead. The one they give you is okay for starting out, but I recommend going to Tractor Supply or your local welding supply and get a heavy duty stinger lead such as this. This cost me about $10. Yeah, it's been a really good machine. I have no complaints with it. Everything is easy to replace. Like the stinger, for example, this only took me, I would say, 15 minutes to replace, and I was back to welding. And they give you, if you're new to welding and you don't know that much, they give you a number to call if you need help to set up your machine. There's a warning label, electric shock, and all that stuff. And then they give you an amperage chart for basically your basic electrodes: 6010, 6011, 6013, 7014, 7018, 7018 AC, 7024. You know, your cutting well, they don't give you your amperage for your cutting electrodes, but I found this to be a little bit off. It's like a wire feeder, like I got right here. Stick welder, you have to basically fine tune too. It runs off a standard 220 volt outlet like your washing machine. Basically, I have no complaints with it, but get the DC version. If you're just starting out, get the DC version. AC welding, I can do it. I don't really see much difference. Maybe it's just me, but DC's a lot easier to get an arc struck and keep it going than what it would on AC. Now, some rods, or they can be ran on AC, DC, EP, or DC electronegative, and basically, generally, rule of thumb is everything can be run better on DC positive. Now, when I run like 1/8 inch 6013, I run it on DC minus, DC negative. Then when I run 6011, I run it on AC, the AC high range. But make sure you have a big enough breaker in your shop, because currently I do not, and I popped a lot of breakers. Trust me, it ain't fun. You're welding and your whole shop goes pitch black, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on? Is it my welder or whatever? But it's a great machine. I got mine for $500 and some after tax and stuff. I don't remember the exact price. I got mine from Tractor Supply. 9 times out of 10, depending on where you live, you're gonna have to have them order the DC version in, because all they have on display and for sale in the store, they're gonna just have AC, only welders. And trust me, you're gonna want to get the DC. And here's a little fact about Hobart. Even though I have a Miller MIG welder well, it's my father's, but Hobart is made by Miller. This is basically a Miller Thunderbolt XL AC/DC without blue paint. I just got that Miller because I started out MIG welding, and my father let me use his 135. But it's a great little, this stick welder, I have no complaints. It runs 7018, 6013, it runs all your basic electrodes. You can do like nickel electrodes, cutting electrodes, tampering electrodes, basically anything. It runs 7018 like a dream once you get the hang of it. Same way with 6013, 6011. A lot of people say when you start welding, go with MIG welding because it's easy. And I was under that category too. But I recommend you start with stick welding, because that machine there is like a Millermatic 140 now is almost $1,000. And this is only $500. So in the long run, a stick welder is going to be cheaper than a wire feeder, but they're both good. But yeah, I have no complaints about Hobart Stickmate LX. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope this video helps somebody out.